The Alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.
Schools are open. Parents, guardians, have you prepared your adolescents that are pregnant and mothers for school? The government has given us national guidelines to assist with the responsibility of sending these girls back to school. Let us help to provide them with a safe, productive, and friendly environment for their learning. They are still our children living among us in our communities. Their pregnancies, becoming mothers before adulthood, affects them, their community, and our nation. All children have a right to education. Now, let's take them back to school because completing their primary and secondary school education is very important to their future careers, personal development, and being productive citizens of our nation. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Education and Sports, the Ministry of Health, Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development.
How you beautiful Ugandans, it's your girl Digitalk. Welcome to the fancy floor. Who doesn't see my hair, guys? I am super glamorous. Remember, this is the only show where we're going to be talking about fashion.
Please, where are you think? Teaching.
What has been confusing you about fashion? Sorry, you said I should not smile. For all the information about fashion, maintenance of body shape.
I can wear bling bling when I'm going out. So you can wear bling bling going out or any occasion.
We shall be doing all this in the fancy floor. Remember, it airs every Thursday right from 8:30 to 9 with your girl, Digitalk. It is the fancy floor.
The Alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.
Yes, 13 million people at the verge of hunger that following the drought that is happening in the Horn of Africa. When you talk about the Horn of Africa, we are talking about countries like Ethiopia, Kenya, Djibouti, Somalia, Eritrea, among many. And of course, 3 Makerere University students have been expelled following their bullying of a fresher. And then, of course, as the administration of Uganda's best and oldest university, they came out to say that they cannot allow bullying of freshers to continue at this particular university. And still in that line, the students are not yet going to back down from their plea to continue or to restart the whole economy, plus Makerere University education. Remember, only a few students are allowed in the campus at a time, and other students are supposed to be studying online. And still to come, we shall talk about the graduation of St. Lawrence University. Now, St. Lawrence University graduated over 430 students yesterday in an event that was graced by a professor, a very good gentleman, Professor Koterega, one of the directors, if not the director of Kampala University. And lastly, a lady comes out to resign. She says she is resigning as a wife due to the husband involving other parties in their marital affairs. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Welcome to this edition of the Mighty Drive Show. It is the 9th day of February 2022, and of course a lot of things are happening right here in Uganda, in Kampala. We are streaming live from. It is very, very cold in Makindye Division, Lukuli, right here at the Digitalk house. Now what we do is that we do different things. We do shows like this, live programming for you, and we do live streaming in case you have an event and you'd want us to live stream it for you. We can also do book launching or event organizing, and we can do proto production. You want to produce any event of your choice, feel free to reach out to the programs director of this particular institution, Mr. Arnold Mokose Anthony. His number is 0701 800-212. Good morning, good morning, and good morning. We have people who watch us from different parts of the country. I have people like Innocent Ainebiona who watch us from as far as Lwengo. I have people like Kakuru who watch us from as far as Mbarara. I have people who watch us from as far as the diaspora. People who are in UAE, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Qatar. Thank you so much. Remember, Qatar is going to be hosting the World Cup of this particular year. It will be in the winter of that particular area. That will be in November and December. Yes, so ladies and gentlemen, allow me delve into the discussions of the day. Today I'm working with a couple of gentlemen. Today there is no lady in studio because right here on camera there is Mr. JJ and of course Mr. Rogers Turiahabwe. They're the people who are going to be working on camera, and of course I'm working with Teddy Tenjo Namukena, who is the producer, and Jeremiah Muchibi is there. Akato Tumusime is the director of the show, and he makes sure that everything you watch is always of excellent quality. A special thank you or special gratitude message to those people, because as I tell you every day, those are the unsung heroes. Abantu betatera nnyo kwogerako nenga bwe tebaliiwo mwatu naffe tuba tetuliiwo. Amanya nze Edgar Matthew Karuhanga okubanga nkuweereza amachagolo naku olwaleero. Ntandiseko waline story eya enjala egenda maaso mu wali ku Horn of Africa. Horn of Africa nabagambe kuli mulimu amawanga nga Ethiopia yesinga otwala ekitundu ekinene ku Horn of Africa. Tulinawo Eritrea, tulinawo Djibouti, tulinawo amawanga nga Kenya, tulinawo amawanga yes, I think go genyini kuliko ne Somalia. Yes, Somalia kayibadde ulayo. Enjala no yongedde okubanga eruma abantu be Horn of Africa. Jukira Horn of Africa awo oba mawanga ago tulabemu a lot of instabilities obutabanko okubadde bugenda maaso. First of all, waliyo wo olutalo lukyagenda maaso mu lujjukiro luli mu ggwanga erya Ethiopia. Government ya Ahmed Abiy egenda maaso n'okubanga erwana ne abasajja bano abatigre abagamba nti baagala kubanga bamenyekako obanga basesidinga bafuuke eggwanga eryetongodde. Nabagamba eno Tigray region erina abantu abakunukiriza mu miliyoni 45. So olaba population ya Uganda kumpi ye population ya region yeyo y'abasajja bano abatigre. Naye okuva olutalo lwagenda maaso awo Horn of Africa oba okuva entalo wezibaddewo, because enjala eno ya Horn of Africa tetandise lunaku lwaleero. Emyaka mingi emabega enjala ebadde ekyalumu abasajja abaate ne beegattamu okubanga buli ssaawa baba balwana, era enjala egenze maaso n'okubanga baluma nnyo. Kati wetwogerera nga World Food Program yafulumiza statistics eziraga nti abantu abakunukiriza mu miliyoni 13 be bagenda mu maaso okubanga babonaabona n'enjala. Abamu babonaabona because the areas are dry, which is something that is so normal in the Horn of Africa, but others are suffering because of the war-torn areas oba entalo ezigenda mu maaso mu bitundu ebimu mu Horn of Africa. Wetwogerera nga abantu nno bangi abafiirire mu ntalo zino, era n'enjala eyongedde okubanga ebalumira ddala. Abantu abamu ne mu parts of Kenya nawo enjala eyongedde okubanga ebaluma. So World Food Program esabye emmere eri mu miliyoni 3 eza $. Kubanga bayamba abantu bano basobole okubanga babalabirira balabe nga tebagenda mu maaso kubanga balumwa enjala kubanga bafa ekintu kino ekyenjala. Nno omuntu okufa enjala oluusi embeera eyo tetera kubeera nnungi nnyo ddala. Olaba ebifaananyi by'abantu abali mu ggwanga erya Ethiopia bangi tebalabika bulungi nnyo, ate embeera gye balimu tenywesa nakabululu oba tekuliisa nakabululu. I think that's how they say it. I'm not sure if it's a mistake. Osobola kunsindika message wano ngamba mbuno bakyogera bwe bati. Tukomewo wano mu ggwanga ku butaka mu ggwanga erya Uganda, tutandikire ku wali ku ssettendekero wa Makerere University. Wetwogerera nga abayizi 3 abagobeddwa olw'okubanga babadde bakola kye bayita bullying kwe kubanga otiizinga munno oba okutiizinga omuntu omupya eyakajja mu kifo kubanga gw'obaddewo oba olowooza osobola okuba nga omuzannyirako. Ebintu ebyo bino byabeeranga nnyo mu masomero mu biseera ebyedda, badde sikyamanyi nti no ne kati ne mu masettendekero, in fact ku settendekero wa Makerere University ebintu bino bisobola okuba nga bikyaliwo. So mu ngeri eyo abayizi basatu bo babawadde suspe nga babagamba balekeraawo kubanga batulugunya oba tugambe batiizinga oba nga babuulinga bano bafresha be baba bayizi ababa bakajja ku university nga gwe mulundi waabwe oba gwe mwaka gwabwe ogusookedde ddala. So ku settendekero wa Makerere University bye bigenda mu maaso. In fact nga tetunava ku settendekero ono wakyaliwo nno bingi ebigenda mu maaso mu settendekero ono. Jjukira okwekalakaasa kw'abayizi kwaliwo wiiki ewedde. In fact abayizi bali balaga obutali bumativu bwabwe nga bagamba embeera ey'okubanga buli omu asomera mu mpalo tebigenda kunyuma. Jjukira omwami Professor Barnabas Nawangwe akulembera settendekero wa Makerere University yavaayo n'akakasa nti abamu abayizi bagenda kuba nga basomera online, abalala bajja kuba bajjanga basomere ku campus nga bagamba bajja kikolanga mu mpalo. Oba obadde ku online, that means ogenda kuba ng'odda obeere ng'osomera kati ku campus. Oba obadde ku campus ogenda soma wiiki mukaaga osobole okuba nga ate ogenda osomere the rest of the semester ng'ogisomera online. Bayizi bangi bagamba mbu temukendeeza ku tuition ate mwagala okuba nga tetukozesa the school facility oba university facilities. Abangi ne bagamba bajja kuba nga beekalakaasa. Twalaba okwekalakaasa okwagenda mu maaso wiiki eyo ewedde, naye abayizi abamu bakwatibwa era ensonga yaabwe tennaba kubanga ekolebwako paka ssaawa zino. Bwe abayizi bagambye tebagenda kubanga bakivaako oba nga bakita bagenda sigala nga balaga obutali bumativu bwabwe mpaka settendekero owa Makerere University wanaavaayo n'atunula mu nsonga zaabwe ze boogerako nga bagamba nno nti ensonga zaabwe zirimu eggumba. Yes, katulinde tulabe embeera eno enaaba egenda etya. Tweyongereko amaaso twogere ku Vivo Fuel Depots. Ndoza mujjukira sabbiiti ntonoko emabegakaawo waliwo okubwatuka okwaliwo wali mu Industrial Area 7th Street awali kampani ya Vivo Energy. Ndoza mugimanyi Vivo Energy nno bano abantu bakola badiiringa mu mafuta. Amafuta kye bakola nti bagafuna ne bagatunda eri companies ezigatunda nga mulaba zi Shell, mulaba zi Total, mulaba zi Rubis oluusi amafuta gawe batera kugajja mu Vivo. Jukira Vivo Energy just company ekola what they say selling and marketing and producing of fuel to other fuel depots. So waliwo okubwatuka okwali ku company oba headquarters za Vivo Energy wali mu industrial area okwaleetera abantu nga 12 okubanga bavaawo n'ebisago. Otwogerera ng'omu yavudde mu bulamu bw'ensi, yabadde wali mu ddwaliro erya Nairobi Hospital era teyasobodde kubanga awona ebisago bino. Abalala babiri bakyali mu intensive care unit obanga bali mu kuyambibwa nnyo because obulamu bwabwe nabwo bulabika buli mu lusuubo okubanga babufiirwa. Wetwogerera nga abantu kati waba oyo omu ye yakafaako ekitegeeza ababiri bali bubi, abantu 9 nabo sibe bali awo nti bali bulungi. So tubasabire era gwe buli bwoba osaba asabire abantu abali mu kabenje ako oba mu kubwatuka okukwali wali ku Vivo Energy. Ndoze ekikamu akiraba kubanga wewabeerawo okubwatuka kampuni eyo kwaliko a lot of mist that was going on. Ekika kyali kyamannyo nga kikwafu nnyo, abantu abasinga ne balowooza nti oba yali bomu oba something, naye just kwali kubwatuka okwali ku kampuni eno eya Vivo Energy. Now tugendeko wali wabweru w'eggwanga, njagala twogere ku mukutu guno gwa Facebook ebadde n'ebizibu ebya sente oba ebya resources nti ennaku zino bali omuzungu kyatera okuyita they are running bankrupt. Company eyongedde okubanga esereba ng'egwa company ya Facebook. Company ya Facebook eno etandise okugwa okuva we baleetawo emitimbagano emirala. Jjukira Facebook gwe mutimbagano ogwasookera ddala okubanga gujja okuba abantu nga batandika ogukoserayo gwali gwakajja ndooza mu early 2000s. Mujjukira abantu bangi bagwettanira nnyo nga balowooza kyekyali ekintu ekisinga. Over time Facebook etandise okubanga losing value, abakasitoma bangi batandise okubanga bagivaako nga bagenda kuba competitors abalala. Instagram gyeri, Twitter gyeri, ne basajja baleeta WhatsApp emikutu egyo giyongedde okubanga abantu bangi bagyetanira. So mu ngeri eyo Facebook eyongedde okubanga egwa shares, egwa emigabo, egwa pricing. Jukira omwami Mark Zuckerberg onono ye bwongo emabega wa Facebook oba omusajja yakola omutimbagano ogwa Facebook yagezaako okubanga akola kibayita rebranding mu marketing nti osalawo abantu badde balina perception gye bakulabiramu n'oyagala ate okyuse engeri gy'ofaanana okubanga attractinga bakasitoma abapya oba okubanga osigaza bakasitoma already b'oba oyina. Facebook yagezaako okubanga rebrandinga ejjenga Meta era ndowooza mwalabako emabega nga bagamba Facebook ekyusiza erinnya bagenda giyitanga Meta. Bagezaako okukola kino naye paka kyagaana era tekyakoze. So Facebook eyongedde okubanga egwa emigabo buli mwaka omujja. Facebook eragira ddala mbuno yerabika egenda kuba egone case, erabika tegenda kubanga eddamu okudda wali we yali nga be ba competitor be ba monopolist be balina bakasitoma bonna kubanga kati emikutu emirala nagyo jajja on board ate abantu abasinga emikutu gino gye basinga okubanga banyumirwa. Eddakiika zino ziri 18 ze zaakayita ku ssaawa emu ey'okumakya. A program gy'olaba bagiyita Mighty Drive, omukutu oli ku The Alternative Digitalk, page bagiyita The Alternative Uganda. Yongera okubanga otusindikira obubaka bwo tujja kubusoma era kyonna ky'oba oyagala tube nga tuyisaawo tujja kubanga tukiyisaawo. Abel Kandiho onono yali Director General wa CMI, omwami Chief Military Intelligence, yali mbega asinga wano mu ggwanga. Ajjukira nabagwako wano story nti government ya US yamuteekako envumbo. So omwami President Museveni yamusooka n'amugja ku mulimu gwe yaliko ogw'okubeera nti yakulembera ekitongole ekikesi ekya CMI. Yadde yamusindise Sudan naye mu sabbiiti 3 zokka President amaze n'addamu n'amuyita akomewo wano mu iggwanga Uganda agenda kubanga aweerezanga Major Chief of Staff wali mu police. So agenda kubanga akolera wamu ne Uganda Police omwami Abel Kandiho nga Chief of Staff. So omusajja oba kuno bakuyita kugwa mu bintu, yes, naye musajja yabigwagwamu dda abadde mu CMI kugamba just eno bakiyitanga transfer. President Yoweri Kaguta Tiwabula Museveni yamutransferinze n'amuwa omulimu ogw'okubeera Major Chief of Staff in the Uganda Police Force. So congratulations Mr. Abel, Major General Abel Kandiho. Era replaces omwami gwe bayita General Jack Bakasumba. Era General Bakasumba yagenda okubanga akolera e Sudan. So bakozemu a bit of twisting. Ono nadda eno, ono nadda eri. Yesetendekero wa St. Lawrence University ya graduatinze abaana abali mu bina 3. Era abaana bagraduatinze mu masomo ag'enjawulo, abamu bannamateeka, abalala bannamawulire nga nze, abalala ba business kwegamba abalala accountants ab'enjawulo. St. Lawrence eno ndowooza mula graduation y'abayizi abo aba St. Lawrence University. Congratulations, mweyongere okubanga muyogayoga mujje wano gye kitera okutokotera. Omanyi wano we tuli omala okusoma n'oli okukakasa nti nno okusoma kuno akaali kakodyo. So congratulations to the St. Lawrence University fraternity okubanga bakoze amatikira gaabwe. Ngamaliza ne story ey'omukyala gwe bayita Esther Okot. Esther Okot yasuddewo oba yawandiise resignation letter eri bbaawe ng'amugamba okuva leero sigenda kuddamu kubanga mbeera mukyalawo. Esther Okot agamba entabwe yavudde kubba okubanga atwala ebintu ebigenda mu maaso mu bufumbo n'abigamba LC5 asobole okubanga abayamba obanga abatabaganya okuddawo ne bbaawe. So yagambye officially because ebintu bikulemye okubanga obisolvinga ng'omusajja kankuwandiikira ebbaluwa kugamba nti officially I've resigned as your wife. I don't know if you can resign the marital duties. This is where I want your education, please. Musoke munyinyonnyolemu mazima ddala oba ofumbiddwa osobola okusalawo nti leero kangende nve mu bufumbo buno n'owandika formal letter n'ogamba nze Edgar Matthew Karuhanga nsalawo nti obufumbo buno mbuvuddemu ku lw'ensonga bweti ne bweti. Kubanga mulimu simanyi mwe abamanyi musobola okubanga mutubuulirako. Mwebale nnyo abatulabye olunaku lwaliro mu kana akanyomero aka The Mighty Global News Updates. Mwebalire ddala kibeera kya ssanyu nnyo okubanga tukola nammwe buli lunaku. Sogedde ku Betty Kamya kuba ye yavuddeyo n'adefending a lifestyle audit ng'agamba oba auditing engeri abantu gye beeyisaamu osobola okubanga otegeera ensimbi zino oba bazibbye oba tebazibye wadde. President Museveni yali yamugambako nti ensonga wali badde togiyingiramu eya lifestyle audit ng'agamba nti ababba ekirungi babba bateeka wano wonna agenda mu lifestyle audit bye banaababbye tebajja biteeka wano mu ggwanga kwegamba okubbako kusigala kuli okay apparently. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching the Mighty Global News Updates. Ngenda kuba nga mpumulamu naye wetukomawo Farida agenda kuba atudde wano n'omukyala Lilian Luwedde bakwongereyo paka ku ssaawa ziri 3 ez'okumakya. Mwebale nnyo abatulabye katuwumulemu katono wetukomawo Mighty Drive and Capitandis. Good morning.
The Alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.
Hey Ugandans, I'm Lieutenant Colonel Dewa Kiki, the Deputy Defense Spokesperson and actually the Deputy Spokesperson for the Uganda People's Defense Forces. I was hosted on Alternative Digitalk. I encourage all Ugandans that this is the way to go. Always watch, participate, give your views and ask questions on Alternative Digitalk. Digitalk, the way to go.
Beautiful Ugandans, it's your girl Digitalk. Welcome to the fancy floor. Who doesn't see my hair, guys? I am super glamorous. Remember, this is the only show where we're going to be talking about fashion.
Please, where are you think? Teaching.
What has been confusing you about fashion? Sorry, you said I should not smile. For all the information about fashion, maintenance of body shape,
I can wear bling bling when I'm going out. So you can wear bling bling going out or any occasion.
We shall be doing all this in the fancy floor. Remember, it airs every Thursday right from 8:30 to 9 with your girl Digitalk. It is the fancy floor.
Schools are open. Parents, guardians, have you prepared your adolescents that are pregnant and mothers for school? The government has given us national guidelines to assist with the responsibility of sending these girls back to school. Let us help to provide them with a safe, productive, and friendly environment for their learning. They are still our children, living among us in our communities. Their pregnancies, becoming mothers before adulthood, affects them, their community, and our nation. All children have a right to education. Now, let's take them back to school because completing their primary and secondary school education is very important to their future careers, personal development, and being productive citizens of our nation. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Education and Sports, the Ministry of Health, Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development.
The Alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.
mwenna batulabira mu ggwanga Uganda awamu n'ebitundu by'eggwanga ebyenjawulo mwebale nnyo ate kubanga mugyekuumiddeko buli lunaku ne tukeera ffenna okusobola okulaba nti ate tuyiga awamu n'okubanga tutereeza eggwanga lyaffe Uganda. Nze omumbejja Luwedde Lilian mbaliriza nnyo ku Mighty Drive era ng'olwaleero ndi n'omumbejja ow'Ebunyoro omukyala Farida Bikobere tuli naye awamu n'omugenyi waffe omwami Aryampa Brighton era ng'ono munnamateeka tugenda kuba tugera ensonga nnyingi nnyo ate ng'era twogera ku nsonga za climate ne ku nsonga za oil and gas tugenda kuba twogera ebintu bingi nnyo ebigenda maaso ku nsonga za climate kiki kye twetaaga okuba nga tukola ng'eggwanga awamu ne gavumenti okutwaliza awamu tugenda kuba tubyogerako nnyo era nga gwe alina ekibuuzo genda butereevu ku Facebook page yaffe The Alternative Uganda teekayo comment yo tujja kuba nga tetugisoma nga show yaffe tennaba kubanga ewunzikibwa naye nga nyongera okubaaniriza olunaku olwaleero olunaku lukedde kadde kakinyi kagobe awaliwo akawewewo so gwe wenna akyali ewaka ng'okyebase nkugamba nti munnange situka ogenda onoonya ekigulira amagala eddiba era nga obulamu bujja kunyumira nnyo ng'ate oyinamukko kasente obulamu tebutambula nga toyinaamu so tuli mu mwezi guno oba oliawo omwezi gw'empita ogw'okutona Farida ajja kuba ayongera otubuulira ku nsonga eno naye bw'onaaba nga toyina kasente onaatonaki situka munago ogenda ogulire ogenda ononye ekigulira amagala eddiba mbaaniriza ku Mighty Drive saagala njogere nnyo saagala nandage ennyo kansoke ennyanirize omumbejja w'Ebunyoro ate naye atulamuseeko atuwe quote of the day then ate tutambuliraawo era tutambuliraawo ku nsonga ezo zennyini nga bwe nzibategeezezza mukyala Farid NRM yali kufudde brand ambassador kakala siimye naye buuza kuba tulaba
obwo bwe buzibu bwammwe mugenda twonoonera kala kati tuyambalengako kala kuba ebiina byazitwala
wenna oyambadde kayero mbuuliza kuba tulaba
kayero nkaagala kuba kali mu flag katulina kala 3 yellow black and red mu flag eyo njagalamu nnyo yellow ne red kati wendyambala red nga mugamba banfuula ambasada wa nuupu sigenda fuuka ambasada bibiina byonna Nenga, it is a good morning to some of us abatatya budde bunnyogovu so tuyinza osobola embeera y'omuzira kummwe abatya obudde obunnyogoga musitule ebisweta ebijaketi abagenda mu kukola don't forget wabweru it is really cold so bamikwano musitule ebintu ebinaabakuuma nga muli warm but temwebaka olw'okuba obudde bwatonye emyene enkuba yatonye ogenda kuwa boss excuse not it rained so I came at 10 jamu abadde mungi batugamba nti bwolabanga ensobi ng'etuuseewo ng'eyinza okukuleetera okudireyinga you wake up earlier nti obadde ozuuka 12 leero kuzuuka 10 mu kitundu okwasaganya ejjaamu w'ekibuga because jjaamu w'e Kampala buli lwetonya oba yetonya kiro oba misana oba ku makya jjaamu akwatirawo I do not know logic yali emabega w'ekyo ekintu but jjaamu akwatirawo nowhere so batumwe mwanguweko abali mugenda mu offices abagenda okukola ab'amaduuka ab'obutale mwanguweyanguweko bannange omukisa guno ogw'okumakya gwegenkizo nnyo toggulawo dduuka ku ssaawa 6 abantu omukisa guba bagututte dda. Quote of the day we are going to talk about information, the information we give out and the information we keep. Have you ever gone to a seminar or conference or even to a party or even a normal outing like these normal outings I'm going for coffee or and then someone comes to you like, hi, can I share your table? Can I share a table with you? Or maybe, hi, I am James. May I know you? And then you're like, you are Lillian, and then I am Ted. That is a lie. Oh, nice to meet you, Ted. Where do you stay? You stay in Buziga? I stay in Kansanga. And then now those are 2 lies. What do you do? Maybe you are job hunting and then you say, because you have a friend who is working on a TV and then I
work with
Alternative Digitalk because agenda kunoonya togenda gamba nti okola kumpe you present kola production. So kati ozibye emikisa gyo gyonna singa gayo nabadde ne opportunity yonna yonna ekuyamba you have blocked all avenues of this person helping you. I think kiri kufe abaana abawala there is this information that is public knowledge because you can get the information from a friend who is close to you like our names. Why would you hide your name? Like the course you did, if you're a student or the course you are doing, why are you hiding it? Maybe the person is looking for that specific person who is doing such a course or who did such a course. Why do you hide it? Like the church you go to, like, hi, why do you go to church and then you you go to church to a different place and then you say a different place. I mean, what is the importance? These things are public knowledge. So whether you say them or not, someone will know them. Someone will know your name even if you don't tell them. Someone will know what you studied if they want to. Someone will know where you go to church to if they want to. So these things that are public knowledge, let us learn to give away. Because when you say these things honestly, someone will think you are trustworthy. And what moves business is trust. When someone trusts you, then they entrust you. So, let us not see these men that come to us, they are all possible, because maybe you were heartbroken, you don't want to relate with men. For you, every man that confronts you, you think, ayagala kukwana, kukozesa, oba kumenya mutima. Others come with opportunities. As for me, everyone that comes to me, I see an opportunity. Maybe he will connect my sister somewhere if I keep his contact.
But Farida, sometimes we shall discuss about this issue.
This vital information about us, we shouldn't be keeping it. You shouldn't be lying about your name. You shouldn't be lying about where you studied from.
It depends on who has approached you, but
unless if you feel not comfortable with the person that has approached you.
I think let's hear from Mr. Aryampa what he says about that.
Yes, my name is Aryampa Brighton. I'm so humble to be here. Our viewers, good morning. About that, I feel, of course, in this world, we live in a world of connection, where you don't know who's going to help you.
Exactly.
You don't know what the future holds. So I think for me, if someone comes, regardless of who he is, whether he's rich, whether he's poor at the moment, for me, I feel no harm to discuss anything with him or her.
Thank you very much. It is a good morning. It is a Wednesday, the 9th of February. It is the month of love. We are giving out love. We are expecting love. By the way, it is the only month in there. So in this month, you love. Just love people. And smile. And smile. You cannot afford to getting angry in the love of man. So in this love month, so we have a hamper before we engage in our discussion of today for the best couple that will give us the reason why that person you have chosen is your Valentine. So chogenda okola ogenda ku recording aka video ka 1 minute okaweereze ku WhatsApp number envudde mu mutwe Lilian agenda jinsomera
0701 800 212.
1 minute video ngo osusuta omuntu oyo tata wo mama wo mwagalwa wo aka video ako kaweereze ku WhatsApp number yo. We shall be announcing the winner on Monday 14th. That is the Valentine's Day. And today we are going to be talking about climate, oil and gas sector, the impacts it has to the host communities and to the environment at large, and what are the possible solutions, and if solutions are there, why did these people wait till now after they have signed the final investment decision and then they're coming to say, like, wait, this oil and gas sector has impacts. If they had engaged earlier, why hasn't these solutions been maybe included? Because economically, an economist will say, hey, we are looking at economic development and we are looking at $15 billion in the next 3 years. So don't tell us about environment. We have Council Aryampa Brighton. He's the CEO, Youth for Green Communities, and he's a lawyer. That is why I call him Council. So tugenda kubanga twogera ebintu bingi nnyo ennaku zino tulabye ba lawyers betanidde environment, maybe because they have studied these things and they know it is a right, and so they're saying, let us lead, let us take the lead. Council, you are most welcome. This is the Mighty Drive. We are going to be here up to 9 a.m. discussing oil and gas. Uganda abali ebintu tugenda biza mu lwaffe olwa wano Uganda tulutegeere bulungi, because Uganda basinga besamba ekintu kya oil ebyo bintu birina technicalities mungi tetubitegeera
Government yebivunaanyizibwa
ebyo byabali abasoma ebyo ffe tetubitegeera so olwaleero tugenda bimenyamenya mpola mpola tugenda tambula his Aryampa you could know by his name that he is not a Muganda so when he pronounces some words not correctly temutugamba si bwe bakyogera you have just known he is not a Muganda so disclaimer tugiteekawo oilosity abantu ba Hoima bamukwano mubeereeko
Mami Kasule tumwetaaga
Kasule beerako because this is your show mwe naddala abali Hoima you call yourself the oil city naye amafuta we gabula gasookera wammwe eyo I don't know mwe mukikola
yeah the prices rose to over 10,000 plus
so Mr. Aryampa you're most welcome
yeah thank you very much once again my name is Aryampa Brighton I'm a lawyer by profession and I lead a youth-led organization called Youth for Green Communities. Majorly what we do is we focus on influencing environment and natural resource governance so that people that have always been excluded in decision making can gain. Either poor, how are poor going to gain if the environment or if environment related projects are ongoing.
Yes.
If they're utilizing natural resources like oil, how are the poor going to gain? How are the young people going to gain? So we are trying to look at, we do research and also advocate on how best can young people gain, how best can the poor gain, how best can those excluded groups join. Women, how do they participate? Because most of the time you see they are always excluded in decision making, but how are they going to gain from such a resource? Or when an environment comes in, is it going to cost their lives? Is it going to cost their livelihoods? So basically that's what we deal in. We work with institutions of learning, universities, work with tertiary institutes, we work with even youth in local communities. We go deep in local communities and see how environment is managed, see how natural resources are utilized. So basically we engaging abana bato, engaging women, so that we have inclusive utilization of natural resources where everyone gains. Kuba as long as tungatuberaho tukole ebintu ngabifavoring abantu apate mu y'abantu. So there are things that we as young people, because it's a youth-led and we work with young people mostly.
Yeah.
So you're saying, how are we going to make our mothers benefit from exploitation of such resources? How are we going to make the local people, the elders, are you going to exclude them? Are you going to make policies that at the end of the day will affect them? I think that would be very unfair if they're not included. Yeah, basically that's what we do. Yes, basically.
You advocate for inclusion,
yeah, for inclusion
at all levels.
That is true.
How has it been over kibadde kito okukolagana n'abavubuka? Because most of the times batwala abavubuka okuba nti ebintu nga bino tebabyenyigiramu, things to do with climate, things to do with environment, abavubuka tebabyenyigiramu.
Febyo tebitukwata konnyo.
Again mazima kati olaba nga tusoma bali batugamba we hold the future. Naye tebatugamba time chi where we should come up as young people take decision. So but most of the time batulaba nga tuli bayayi because tebatu empowering in that at this age I should be able to do this and that as a young person. So I think for us as Youth for Green Communities, that's why we came in and netugamba nti katulabe how avubuka, how young people, how mwana w'omuwala, how they can come in basoke nabo participating involved in handling the issues Uganda faces as a country or their country. So katuwanga twaga elwanga developing tugenda ku engaging etanga fenga abana abato or fenga nga the youth or this that age bracket is gonna gamba abana abato. I don't know how you say it in Uganda, the youth, how you call it? Abavubuka. And actually I think abavubuka it means chitegeza the male gender, right?
No,
abavubuka is
n'abawala.
Okay. Yes. So twagala kulaba how can we to engaging batya nga nafe to gaining or to addressing problems that we face as a country. So that has been actually, it's one of the reasons why it was formed.
Oh, so what influenced your idea of coming up with youth for green communities?
I think one point the trending climate change crisis. Abantu bajela banyo, but it is a world issue. that is happening right now.
Nanti fika tufa ku bya Uganda wano season bwe
Season,
zishuka nga tugana.
Aha,
Season inaku zino
that-
zakyusemu enkuba etonya mu Gwakusatu.
That ku bya Uganda specifically climate change. Mwaliwo kyaba kasese. Roads, it came and flooded. No one expected rain to come at that point of time. No, initially nga tukula twali tumanyi nga tuna two seasons. Tuna dry season, tuna rainy season. But now what happens? Too sure. They're no longer now that they're not
It used to
predictable.
rain in November. To subira grasshoppers, but right now, last year, it was why it rained twice.
Twice. So, and of course, you know, ejijona biberanga be affecting ordinary people. Because of Maninga, Uganda, to the agricultural state. So the moment there is a change in season and you cannot predict when to grow crops, first of all, you're going to spend money on buying the seedlings. Let's again to plant those seedlings to yield what you want. You're also going to get a time you've said okay, I've been badenga ndima this season. Kandi maybe nko bagenda kujja. Naye kati nko bagwegana.
Ngo you irrigate.
Ngabifirayo.
So you irrigate.
Now irrigation in Uganda now is a different thing because how many people know about it? Because now we are talking about local communities.
Knowing and affording.
Still actually there's also knowing and affording. So and if that happens, of course it happens there are people I would call them elites and they deal in farming. Our money they have read about it. Yes. But what happens with this person, ordinary people? For abantu bawansi. Abantu babulijjo. Tugenda college. Because we don't know irrigation. Tetumanyi. Twakulanga ffe tulabanga ogenda enkoba bwetonya n'olima n'otekayo seedlings zo ne zimira then you get what survive on. Naye kati change in weather. You don't know when to plant. Tomanyi harvesting au harvesting
ne agriculture yafuuse wabayina sente nti dry season bwejja abagaga ne basimba ne bafukirira kati mwe mugenda okusimba ne bituukira mu bungi kati ye biyo bituuka nga waliwo scarcity ne babitunda highly prices ne zishuka
mugenda okuleeta ebyamwe
mu katale nga prices zasse muli banja emini byatuukidde ku mu like bingi so ebintu bya Uganda kati saawe no bifavoringa mu certain few people but I think how has it been to engage the policymakers and then these the normal Ugandans, because some of us don't know about climate, don't know about the things of amataba bwegajja Ugandans normalize everything. Babala babe bududanga takalibu ngulukuka I mean that is okay, it is normal. They will say bahambi abantu bafudde ne chiyitawo because they don't know that is environment, they don't know that maybe they can do anything about it and then ne bachikendezaako. So how has the journey been?
Yeah, that is true. A few people tebamanya about climate change. But I've been tunga change in season ne bijja ne magamba in a miracle this is how things are supposed to be.
Katonda yatujjukidde.
But of course us we've been trying to sensitize people. Nga tubigiliza these are the things. If you cut down trees on a hilly mountain, anytime floods are going to come and carry you away with your things. Then was it around August we carried out a national dialogue on oil threats and oil and gas in Uganda. How is it affecting people? Our vuka but engaged how? Women, how are they engaged? There are things that we've been really trying to there are things mbera ku social media mugenda live into positive byonka. Agamba of course agenda is going to create jobs. It's going to, you're going to have your roads developed. There are things abantu bebawulira. But there are things, people who go back to those communities, abagenda mu communities ezo, they see a different thing. Because me as a person, when you ask me my opinion on this oil and gas, I'm not saying that it is totally bad. But
you give it a percentage.
But if it is handled well, maybe Ugandans can gain. Naye kati mistakes zebakola, of course, but don't call mistakes as a country. Because you can, at the moment, most countries are transitioning to clean energy.
Yes, true.
Now, what does it mean for Uganda? If countries are transitioning to clean energy, and for us now we are starting to produce oil.
We are taking baby steps, but we are in the right direction.
We shall reach there.
We shall reach there.
Well, the question is, of course, to get there, but how are we going to get there?
Yeah.
Are our rights, all our rights respected?
No, we are first getting economically stable.
So if you get them, because of course in the line of becoming economically stable, a lot of things are going to be spoiled in that right. You get environmental risks because you have an oil pipeline which is passing in areas of natural importance, because you're having an pipeline that is over 1,443 kilometers, that is crossing national parks, Maxon Forest, it is crossing forests, Bugoma, Budongo. It is crossing water bodies, Lake Albert, because actually the whole thing, it's the whole mainstream. You need Lake Albert.
Yeah.
But this is where people, because if you're getting that oil, then what happens to people that have been doing fishing? What happens to people that are living around there? If you,
They're going to get displaced.
yeah, there have been developments. At least I can confidently say that when you go to Hoima, the roads they look good. They are developing Hoima, the oil city.
Yeah.
They're developing it. That's not disputable. But how are you developing it? Because initially you're getting land from people. Are you compensating them? There are the issues with Tamani. Because the moment because I might be coming from West, but I'm a Ugandan.
Yeah, true.
So ekituuka ku muntu wa Hoima, bwe kimanyako if I have a voice, I think it's yeah, because the moment people become landless, they will go anywhere. Because most people might not care about what's happening in Hoima now, but believe me or not, time will come when it will affect you. So we are trying to train people about, especially the young people, about the youth, about climate change. What is climate change? When you see things changing, don't say these are miracles. Oh, they're just happening. No.
These are what?
This is because of what we are doing. Because climate change, it is something that, it is existential, it's something that we cause.
Kituufu naye omuntu ali eri ekasutaime mayuge, will that person care about abantu ebigenda maaso Hoima eyo oba pipeline yayiseewo oba teyayiseewo beekosezza bano ekisooka tebabimanyi. Ekyokubiri nammwe ababikola online Kampala mpozi ne Hoima gye mumanyi nti pipelines gye ziyita ebintu bino bikonsaninga n'abantu abali far from Hoima.
And for us, because for green communities, we have our ambassadors, people we work with from different regions. That's why I say you might say it is youth led, but it has a lot of people. Yes, we might have staff and do a lot of things, but we have regional representatives.
Okay.
From there. So, because the main point for that was that if you're from north. And you see something threatening the environment, you see people's rights that side are being violated, talk to us and we see how best we can come in and help out. So we are trying to make, of course, it's a young group, but we are trying to see how best we can make. Because our main goal is to make a young movement that are focusing on how they can engage, how can they be part of developing Uganda. Okay. That is our main goal. Yes, now we are still small, but how can we grow that movement of young people? That's why tugende mu masomero ntu sensitizing abantu, you guys should participating.
When did you start Youth for Green Communities?
We started it in 2017. By that time we were students. But we registered it.
Students at university?
Yes, we legally registered it in 2020. That was November. That's when we registered it.
But what you know about the climate change? We've had laws and policies on climate, on protecting the environment and then the climate as well. But why is it that climate against chuka buli kaseera, and then we are seeing the government wayo forests eri abantu bakoleremu emirimu gyabwe? Like, how do we go about this? How do we change this?
You see, that is now that's a problem I think we have as a country. We are not rotating governance, because when you look at between Ngafe as a country, Ngafe Uganda, they are the best policies you can find.
We have the best laws.
We have the best laws. That is, together na debate. Uganda laws zeinambi.
But they are on
so
paper. They are not.
Now the question is enforcement of those laws that we have. Now that is the challenge, because when we have institutions that are also governed by laws, we have NEMA. We have National Forest Authority. NEMA there's a NEMA Act. There's National Forest. There's National Forest. This is National Tree Planting and Forest Act. Is that act that effect? But then you ask yourself, why do we find forests being given away to investors? Now that's it. There's even when you go to our supreme laws, the natural resources are supposed to be protected on behalf of the people.
Okay.
So which means twaro muntu I know where ne title mu such protected areas nga forest, but you go to Bugoma because we've been also part of this Save Bugoma campaign. But go there and see what is happening. People, there is a freehold, now there is a leasehold. So we are saying, how did these people get these titles? The initial, of course, the story is they gave the land to the Bunyore Kingdom. Then Bunyore Kingdom begins it to. So like, how can the government give away, give a freehold title to a kingdom, and then to an investor? Okay, because we have vast land somewhere in northern Uganda which is dry. We have a lot of government land. Why don't you allocate such land for investments?
These sugarcane growers are also looking for virgin land.
But of course now that's a point we should bring in irrigation. If you see that this land is at the moment is not fertile, and you're an investor, I think the best you can do is if you have Uganda, or if you want to develop Uganda, because when an investor comes in, I think the goal is you much as you're investing. I think you also want to see the country develop, because if you're doing an investment and you want to market, of course the country must be good. Yeah, so why don't you ask for that land and you develop it, and they can give you at a subsidized taxes, or they can even give you don't pay tax for the same time when you're developing it, instead of encroaching on the forest that is causing chaos worldwide. Yeah, I think there's the question you asked me. About the economic development and about climate change and maybe how people are affected. That there might be oil in Hoima, but someone who is in Central is not affected. Yeah, that's the same question that I would ask, because Africa as a country, when you see our contribution to this greenhouse gases, it is less than 5%, but we are affected. Why? Because of the industrialization in Western countries. Yeah, that's why we are saying that, of course, that's why we had COP, and we are asking that they should increase on the climate finance fund. Why? Because for them, they contribute a lot. And so for us to mitigate those effects they contribute, then they should give us money.
They should finance.
They should finance us and see. Because there are so many projects that, of course, we as people, we want to take. So we have issues on, we are now raising funds because we have so many projects. We want to do tree planting because we are thinking of, even in case, because at the moment we are not, because personally I don't think, I'm still fighting so that we don't see ECOP go through unless things have been worked on that we are raising. Initially, after the signing of final investment decision, we wrote a communique to different stakeholders, of course raising issues. And you say, yes, much as you've signed this, but these are issues that you need to address. And before you address that, we are going to do all our means to decampaign your project.
But these projects, we do not want to say, yes, they're bad to the environment, but they might be good to the people who are looking for jobs. Let's say industrialization. Yes, it has carbon emissions. Couldn't you just be giving these people the solutions on how to handle it, on how to mitigate the percentages of carbon emissions that go to the atmosphere, and instead of decampaigning? Because as the youth don't have jobs, and when someone brings in a project that is giving us opportunities,
we are looking at job opportunities.
We are looking at job opportunities. We are looking for kamana, because the environment never nabere nungi nga fete tulina sente fwe abavubuka tujagamba twagala mirimu tetufunyemu ebya environment tobitugamba. I think you environmentalists, what you should be doing now is sitting and finding solutions on how we can have industrialization, because we need it. Mungeri yokulaakulana n'okuyambako abavubuka on how to help these people get solutions on obutakosa nnyo environment.
Yes, that is true, and I think I mentioned on the issues we raised, but we also gave recommendations. See, some of the recommendations, we are saying that invest in green economic activities, invest in agriculture. Because when you look at, even before I go into green activities and invest and their rated investments, you have to look at how many Ugandans can work in the oil sector and what kind of jobs can they do. Because for me, I think it would not make sense if if they're making a road bagenda, they just go and dig and pave way slash and pave way for the construction. Then after that, for the construction of the road. Then after that, the main contracts are given to foreign companies. Because we had roads, infrastructure development in let me say, an example in Ulisa, but even this nationwide, we know the people that construct our roads. But don't we have companies this side that do construction of roads?
Maybe they do shoulder work. I am not I'm the spokesperson of Untitled. Don't quote me. I'm just saying maybe.
Yes, I'm also aware because when they contracted these roads in the oil district, they gave it Chinese, but they would subcontract Ugandan companies, which is not bad. But now the question is, when are you going to trust your own Ugandans that they can also construct roads?
Tugenda kuba tutuukawo Mr. Aryampa, but the last question nga tetunabagenda ko mu break. Agriculture yali backbone of our country. Naye ate kati ebintu bikyuse, the seasons have changed, the climate has changed. Kati tuddayo tutya on that line okusobola okulaba nti tutereeza ensonga ya agriculture. Now
agriculture, because agriculture, it is still backbone yafe. We all predominantly depend on agriculture as Ugandans. That is still the point. Now, of course, because of mistake nyingi, we've seen things happening to our soil that has been fertile, but we can always reform. Because I think the best way to take is let's end for sales. Okay. If you're investing, if an investor comes, do not encroach in the area that is fertile for crops. And also sensitize people on what, because now we are seeing.
But also these investors want fertile land.
And we are looking at because now we are trying to negotiate and see how best can we develop our country, and how best can we also maintain the status as an agricultural state.
Okay.
So we are looking at, okay, if as I mentioned, when you look at Uganda's account, there are a lot of vast land. Government has land, its own land. Yes, matters of course, and there are still, you look at the kind of investment. Is it viable?
So if government has land, why are they giving away forests?
I cannot answer that.
Do we have investments in Uganda that is not viable? Maybe Ugandans don't need it, but we have it. Like you could mention 2 or 3.
I'll mention the. Do we need another sugar company in Uganda?
We don't.
We have so many.
Don't say we don't.
We have so already. Because when you look at the history of Uganda in terms of deforestation, in terms of environmental crimes, because they may call deforestation environmental crime. Yes, there's a time, I don't know how old I was, when my brother was being given away. But I think I was young, but I think I had it.
Yes.
This for Butambera, something for sugarcane. There's Madavani, there's Kachira. We have so many. Why do we need the one of Oima in place of a forest? A forest where you're going to exploit oil. So, because now you're looking at how are we going to mitigate.
Yes.
And now you're cutting a forest. I know what's funny is, there was last year, Uganda was applying for a day to grow trees.
Yes, true.
They are cutting trees.
And
now they are applying for a loan, World Bank, to plant trees. So that's the confusion. So, but for me, for us to go back to agriculture now, we have to demand. We have to let our government know that, because we have to advise it, because we are the people still. The government is us. Yes, as much as we have leaders, but we have to advise on how we should be governed.
But now if you look at the national budget, money allocated to agriculture is less compared to the money allocated to security.
Because security is vital. We are going for a short commercial break. We'll be right back. When we come back, we are going to be looking specifically at the impacts of the oil and gas sector to the people around where these pipelines are passing, and the depth of these pipelines. Are they too deep that they don't affect the people around them? Or zile kongolo manyiba na Uganda muyenje sanyo propaganda. So permanent secretary wa oil and gas sector mchara Irene yatugambye those pipelines are really deep, so they cannot affect any person that is going to be passing near those by where they are. So we are going to be talking that and more when we come back. It is still the Mighty Drive. I am Farida and Lillian.
The Alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.
Hey Ugandans, I'm Lieutenant Colonel Dewa Kiki, the Deputy Defense Spokesperson, and actually the Deputy Spokesperson for the Uganda People's Defense Forces. I was hosted on Alternative Digitalk. I encourage all Ugandans that this is the way to go. Always watch, participate, give your views, and ask questions on Alternative Digitalk. Digitalk, the way to go.
How you beautiful Ugandans, it's your girl Digitalk. Welcome to the fancy floor. Who doesn't see my hair, guys? I am super glamorous. Remember, this is the only show where we're going to be talking about fashion.
Please, where are you think? Teaching.
What has been confusing you about fashion? Sorry, you said I should not smile. For all the information about fashion, maintenance of body shape.
I can wear bling bling when I'm going out. So you can wear bling bling going out or any occasion.
We shall be doing all this in the fancy floor. Remember, it airs every Thursday right from 8:30 to 9 with your girl Digitalk. It is the fancy floor.
The Alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.
Essaawa ziri bbiri ekitundu kiba kyakubiri mu show yaffe The Mighty Drive. We still have Council Aryampa Brighton. We are talking environment, we are talking climate, oil and gas. Naye kijja kuba kyawulyaza amaanyi okukyaza pop ne mutambuuza ku bifa Roma. So it would be unfair for us to host a council ne tutogera ku human rights violations ezigenda maaso mu Uganda waneeno. So tujja kubanga tubyogerako naye kusembayo nga tumaliriza mu dakika zaffe 10 ezisembayo tujja kuba twogera ku human rights and the violations that are going on in the country currently. Naye saawa eno katugira tunyintiza ensonga ya environment kuba Bannayuganda basinga tetugitegeera bulungi ate oba tetugiteeseeko namaanyi ffe bye tusinga dictator agende. Ebirala tunaabiraba.
Oil and gas tetubifaako naye amafuta lwe gaabula
ebyo byonna tutabiraba dictator amaze okugenda.
Hoima tugiyita oil city naye amafuta bwe gaali gabuze gasooka kubula Hoima. You can imagine. Gatandika okugula liita ku I think it was 10,000 oba 10,000 oba 15,000 mwami Kasule yatubuulira wano. So you can imagine wetulinga eggwanga. But now, we would like to hear from you. Why is the financial investment decision important? As a country, how are we benefiting from it? Isn't it going to cost us in the other way around?
The final, because I didn't really, let me first, of course, the final investment decision, we are looking at the Lake Albert oil projects.
Yes.
The Tailenga, Kingfisher, and the Heated Eco. So, how is it important? Is it important? That's a question that I think that we must debate.
Is it important?
Because, of course, at some point, it brings, of course, most Ugandans are excited about it.
Yeah, we are excited with the economists.
Yeah, because for me, I would say, yes, of course, for economists that don't say the narrative, I think that's why they're excited about the financial investment decision. But for me, the different view is the excitement, I think, stops with people making decisions. Not the people that are going to, that it is affecting at the moment.
Because there are even those that are going to benefit.
Because you have an eco I mentioned earlier, it is over 1,443 kilometers. How is it, how does it have an impact on people? Now, achieve hoyuma. People, of course, for you to have infrastructure development, you need land. The land that initially mataka gabantu baga owning. So of course, yes, the law provides, that's Article 26 of the Constitution provides that, of course, if the government wants land, anything for public good, for public interest, they can take that land. But of course, that law is wide. They give you bakwa options. Nga gutona watu wale itakali yange, uino compensating fairly, promptly, and adequately. No, that is, I think, that's where I think our authorities get it wrong. Because now we are looking, how are you, what is, anyway, they don't define what fair is, what adequate means. So that's why at the moment, munanga abantu bagena bali mu court. Tubanaba kuba compensating. Yes. Because there are so many oil developments. I mentioned the is oil, I'll give an example of the downstream, where that's construction of oil refinery. They displaced over 1,000 households.
But I hear these people baba compensating.
Baba two options. One, balinga ba compensating, nogamba nubavoluinge takalyo nebakuwa sente.
Yes.
The second option was baku displacing bakufunile taka. They built for a house. At the moment, when you look at those houses, they were building. They were zimbira. Ziringa camps. Balinga bali mukam. These are Ugandans that initially owned land. Your life is good. Because I think the position is, when you boberanga displacing omuntu, oyino muteka position where ali because when why would the person go back to the situation he has never seen? So option endalinga bakuja bakuwetaka bakolache. But of course they did that. Bakompensate bagamba agenda bawetaka but ebyapa babirina. In Uganda, if you own land, you know, a certificate of title, you have conclusive evidence that actually you own this land. They don't have that land. They don't have that certificate of title to prove that actually this is their land. So anything can happen if you don't have, because you've seen Uganda. I don't want to talk about land grabbing because that's a topic of another day. Certificate of title. Of course, there are different news, I'm aware. But of course, there are some specifics. But in Uganda, even those people that had that held land in customary, where they are getting certificates, supposed to get customary certificate of title of customary land. If you can now options, and then the option, of course, now I say people are living in camps. People don't have certificate of titles, and and other things. Baba displacing. Those are things Baba promising. That was 2012. 10 years. Down the road. Yes, people don't have titles. Then the Katwalu bagamba agenda kuwa compensating. Bali mukoti, they opened a land suit in 2014. Why? They had money for fair compensation. Now kati a situation now bring it in reality. Balanga ngabakuje mutaka tubana compensating kati how are they surviving? Ba surviving abatia. No, that's the question.
These are the people
They displaced them and they didn't compensate them.
They didn't compensate.
So
Those were some that were compensated were given less. There's a few that
they were undervalued.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, those are all points. There's the compensation rate was very low. Because you cannot be compensating me of my land for 2012, then use the rate of 2010, because you know how land appreciates. And then of course even when we make a deal and you take all these years without compensating me, even are you going to compensate me after 10 years and you compensate me on the rate of 2012? So those are the injustices.
Because that is when I bought the land.
Land appreciates.
Ebiseera bikyuse
n'enkulaakulana twagikola luli ne tuvaluinga nti ngenda
kuwamoddamu okuvaluinga right now it's a different, I think it's different, right?
No, ante endagano era still endagano ina terms. Bw'ogamba ogenda twagula contract ogenda kumpa ettaka lyange and ogenda kunsasula mu 1 year. No, tansasula.
But the government says they bring you a government valuer and the person values your land. I am just saying what the government said. Kubantu abali ba complaining of being undervalued and all that kind of stuff. And they would say they would bring you a government valuer. But tosobola kugamba nti entima yasaza ogwekibira naye nagamba naba valuing itaka lyabwe ne bakuwa value for your land or your property.
Ati ofuna value wani government neto wayo kati mujira, but of course walo land the rates nga wezili nga zili yao. This is land because if you go different places rates zizimu.
Yeah.
So they value according to the area of where that land is located.
Yes.
Yeah. So where the government, of course, if the government, because there's the private land valuers and government land. So budget, balancing, then what is the specific rate should that they must use? Cut out. But even leave alone. Okay, they have used government valuers. Have they paid them? And if they are valuing, are they going to? Because there's a way of, because there's when I've made developments on the land. Compensation valuing, you don't include those things. Because complaints about now and about bagamba, we had gardens. We left our crops. We left them. They had fruits, avocado fruits, and other things. And other things when you're displacing people, because this is where people abantu baja echokulia. So the moment if these are things you cannot live. Because it's not a bare land. It's a different thing. If it is just a bushy land left there, now that's a different thing.
But it was a different
land. So for them, the government will come and say, okay, this is the land and this is the value. You're not.
They will not consider what is there, what developments are there.
I've built my house; it is there. I have my crops; they are there. I have my fruits; they are there. What did I go there for? So those are things that, of course, even those are things that you cannot leave out when you're valuing. Those are people, because those are valid reasons. But of course, when you ask what is ongoing, I think that will be another question about the court case. Yeah.
But now, if you look at the Tilenga and the Kingfisher projects, how are they going to increase the social and economic development in Uganda?
I think for Tilenga and Kingfisher, of course, those are projects. I think plus ECOP. I think those are the 3 projects whose the FID was signed.
Yes.
Yeah. For the economic part of it, yes.
Yes, so we are good. Yeah, for the economic
part of
it.
Yeah.
It is a plus.
I would say it's a plus because people are going. Of course, you see the country is going to develop in terms of infrastructure development.
Okay.
There's an airport taking place. Of course, anyway, I don't know if it will be concluded because that was a project that started in 2020, the oil refinery. We're not sure. And there are roads, they're constructing them. So infrastructure development, I would say they are good.
Then let's look at the environmental impact.
But the environmental threats they pose, they are so significant. Because as I mentioned, it crosses Lake Albert, Lake Victoria. Because it goes from Hoima to Port Tanga in Tanzania. So it crosses so many forests. So now we are looking at access to clean water. We are looking at we are looking at oil spills and the effect on the fertile soil. We are looking at tourism. What means tourism if the pipeline or if the oil threads are passing in areas of natural importance, other areas of tourism.
Hello, we have a call. Good morning. You are on the Mate Drive. Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
Good morning. Thank you for the show.
You're welcome.
My name is Gilbert, and I have some number of questions to ask.
Okay. Yes.
One is the gentleman council was mentioning that most of the countries are resorting to cleaner energy, and for us, we are just starting to do mining for it. I also believe that most of the countries that are not resorting to cleaner energy are those that are basically the first-class ones. So I think getting to the cleaner energy level is that we are economically empowered, that we can do without the industrialization that clean energy, oil and gas presents. So I think my question now to him is that how do we make a bridge? How can we work?
Oh, we have missed you, but I think he wanted to ask how can we make a bridge when we, while protecting the environment and economically developing. Yeah. Because he is saying those countries that you are referring to that are advocating for clean energy, they are countries of first class. They are not really stable, but they are somewhere in terms of development. So maybe we think they have reached a certain point. And what he is saying is, why can't you people advocate for social, economic development and then the environmental protection? We work hand in hand, other than you campaign the other one to disadvantage.
And actually, we are not really campaigning. Of course, I use that campaigning, yes, but I will respond to the gentleman's question of. Because as a country, or even these us individuals, we have potentials and capabilities. We have different abilities. Because when you look at Africa, the oil producing countries in Africa, how many are world class economically? You look at Nigeria, and you look at what is happening in Nigeria in those areas that are produced the oil host communities. Are they developed? No. The human rights issues ongoing.
In Uganda.
Uganda, we have not actually started even producing oil, but we're already having issues.
We are creating the issues.
We are already creating the issues.
It is us who are creating,
we are creating the issues. Yes, we are creating the issues.
We can solve the issues.
Look at, because if Uganda, because there's the Dubai, is it United of Emirates? Yes, they are. It's an oil producing country. Yeah. But at the moment they're using they're investing in tourism. Why? It's a question because they would maybe probably look for more exploitation areas to keep on producing oil.
We have a call.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Yes, we get you.
Okay, thank you so much. Sorry, I got cut off, but I wanted to kugusa nsonga yange zembadembo z'omwanya.
Yes,
about the oil and gas. How do we make it a bridge? How do we find a space between having a better environment that is not that much affected and having the industrialization that oil and gas is presenting, especially now that we have signed the final investment decision? Because it's important that we grow as a country. Economically, we need to grow. But it's also important that as we grow, we are living in a healthy environment. The people's health are also okay. So I want him to give us his opinion or his idea on how we can merge the two, to make sure that we are growing, we are using the oil and gas, but we can also, thrive economically and environmentally. On another issue, Farida mentioned the fact that one of the reasons maybe why most of the Ugandan companies are not given the contracts that work in this kind of deals is because they do shadow work. I think the government should just empower our companies and skill them, because until when are we still going to be inviting foreign companies to benefiting from the deals that Ugandans should be benefiting from? I think it's unfair. So it's the role of the government to make sure that the people of Uganda, the companies that are Ugandan, are empowered and skilled to be able to work in this kind of deals. Because if they say they are not skilled, we are going to keep getting foreign companies doing this work over and over and over again, which is not fair, honestly speaking. I think that is all I have to say. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Gilbert, for watching us. I actually want to say side maybe. I am not sure whether they do whether they do should they work. I had a question to Mr. Brighton. How can we work hand in hand as we protect the environment and we do the industrialization and we develop economically?
Yes, of course, the FID has already been signed, which means maybe it will commence because, of course, there are also issues. They said they signed, but they didn't tell us the finances. And, of course, to my knowledge, there are some banks that are rolling out the finances, over 11 banks, over 3 insurance companies, and even African Development Bank. They are not supporting the ECOP, so you know what that means. But, of course, yeah, now, okay, if at all it goes through, how are Ugandans going to benefit? Because now we are looking at the local content. I think we passed a local content policy 2018 as a country. So here we are looking at implementation of oil activities. How are Ugandans going to participate? Now that is a question. And of course, the viability is how, of course, before even we go into implementing or participating, the aspect of local content is, are Ugandans having issues at the moment? So first, you address the issues that are happening. Because the first participation is for you to compensate a person you have displaced. That's the first part. Then trust your own people.
We can compensate you as the project is going on.
Then how will I be surviving? Because the consequences that these projects are posed are very significant. Because we look, people have dropped out from school.
Yeah.
Women have nowhere to grow crops. And you know the food insecurity that comes with that. People have come this side on streets because they have nowhere to go. Because that's the major thing why we are saying that we are as young people, what can we do? So how can we participate? Yes, one, you need to skill Ugandans so that they can get employed and they can benefit throughout the whole process. Yes, it is going. Of course, the final decision that we made, yes, is going to commence. Much as hasn't commenced because anyway, that's a topic of another day. Yeah, but we have to skill Ugandans. See how best Ugandans can get engaged and skill them. If there's a course of oil and gas and policy. How are students interested to take it so that they can manage, they can govern their own oil and gas even after they leave school?
Yeah, I saw Toto announcing some placements for students who really want to study about oil, to prepare yourself for opportunities that are in the sector.
Yes, those are development that should come up. Let people study about oil and gas. I studied oil and gas when I was at the university.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
As a course?
As a course unit, yes. So you have to look at those environmental policies as well. Do they align with these projects? Or how best can we align them? Because we are going to look at let me say if we are going to, because there are so many, are all those projects vital? If you're...
Hello.
Yes, hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Your name and where you calling from?
Okay, I have one more question for the gentleman. About, we have the Digitalk school for, I think, oil and gas. The people who should be going there, Ugandans apparently who should be adding oil and gas and to be able to be employed in these kind of sectors, are supposed to pay the amount of money that ranges from 9 million and above. How are we, because it was mentioned in the fact that Ugandans need to be participatory, they need to participate in these processes, but how do they participate if the schools that should be skilling them are that hyped and expensive? What is the role of the government in this whole process? Because, okay, it has signed the deal, but then, until when are Ugandans going to be left out of this kind of thing? Because, I mean, look at Chipamba, you cannot be paying someone paying 9 million and they owe 20 million to study something. So what exactly does the government need to do to make sure that, Ugandans are part of these processes and they are actually benefiting? Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. He's talking about the Chichamba Institute that is training people in oil and gas, and he's complaining about the amounts that they're charging. The high 9 million in Uganda. When someone gets 9 million, you will start a business. I mean, omuntu asobola 9 million ezowamu siba bazadde bafabo mu byalo. Kati omuzadde oyo bw'aba alina omwana, how are we getting these poor kids involved or skilled to benefit from the oil and gas sector? And he is saying, what should the government do to make that everyone is involved? You talked about inclusivity. How can they include everyone?
It's an amazing question, I must say, because we are looking at, we want to skill people, but then we are looking at the cost of skilling. Should it come at a cost? I think that's a question that the government should address. Because if you're skilling people, which kind of people are you skilling? Because how many ordinary Ugandan can manage 9 million? So, because for me, I would advise the government, one, to put scholarships for oil training, majorly, at a no cost. Or if the cost is there, it should be small that everyone can. But 70%. They can pay 70%. Yeah, as you've suggested, they can pay 70%, or it comes at a lower cost. Because there's some money, of course, and because there's also an aspect of there's so many, and I'm assured of getting a job. Now one aspect nayenga osobola kun traininga naye negubula. Because initially got soma but gamba, of course when you educated, you're sure of getting a job, but how many jobs do we have? Because the whole thing is because as young people or as any ordinary Ugandan, one thing is at the moment the way our economic stability is, our economic status is, you have to get a way of, you have to be creative you as a person. How are you as a person going to engage in the oil sector, the oil and gas sector? You as a person, not because you have started. So we have to be creative as young people. If you need the kind of skill and just even getting that skill and you're sure of getting it as the government, because the government still either way, because if I'm going to the government side, the government cannot provide jobs for everyone.
Yes,
because the private sector has to come in. We as people, we need to also come in and see how best can we be creative, how best can we create jobs as young people. Or
the private sector is coming in and are doing industrialization, and here environmentalists are saying, don't do massive industrialization. You are saying they should invest in agriculture, and the youth that we want to create jobs for are not interested in agriculture.
But we have fields where investors can come in. We have our potentials account where investors can come in. Because if you invest in agriculture, you're most likely to create over 4 million jobs. If you invest in agriculture. So we are saying instead of you investing in a harmful investment.
But still, we are going to invest in agriculture unless you are telling us that after we have produced our products, we're going to export them the way they are. But if we want to process them and all that kind of stuff, we shall do.
And actually, let's also look at the quality of products as a country. But Kenya yali egobye kasooli waffe olw'ensonga nti tatuukagana na mutindo n'amagye nago ne bagagoba lw'ensonga nti tebituukagana na mutindo.
But of course, even in Uganda here, we have industries that's supposed to do that. But the problem is, of course, that's why we have companies come in and they fall. Because look at the tax regime of our country. We've had some market that come in and they end up running bankrupt. Yeah. Because there are things that even when you're passing policies, you're supposed to look, they should be comprehensive and looking at how best those policies align with all sectors of development. Because we have an industrial area, if you're forming industries, you can put them in one place, because in one place you can always regulate such kind of setup.
Okay. Yeah.
Have those industries, put a tax that they can pay, because now we're also looking at sustainability. Yes. If an industry, of course they give, but even Uganda gives incentives to those industries. But the issue we have as environmentalists is why do you have to put an industry? Why do you have to put an investment in a natural protected area instead of you investing it?
It is because when I put my industry in the wetland, the water will cool these things that we use to the machines and all that. Because the pipe says, I want to say yes, it has an impact to the environment, but for the benefit of the
The economic benefit.
Even the people that are working there, okubataasiriza bino pipes birina okuulinga. So the reason why these people target wetlands, I think what we would be advocating for is how to manage the waste and to do the waste management, and how to. I think you people should be giving us solutions. Solution, yes, it is there. What should be done?
No, but for me, I cannot give a solution after, because when you encroach on a wetland, you have taken it, it's gone. Because the moment you encroach, because they put is it not sand? There's soil. Those are the other time, because those things they're happening now, but we are going to pay for the consequences. And for me, that's the reason I say young people, we should act now, because those people that are making decisions now are not going to pay for the consequences. You cannot disturb nature.
Are young people who you are actually calling up to act, are they informed about anything? What are they going to act about?
And now that's what we are doing. We are teaching them, we are empowering them, we are teaching them about what is happening.
Give us the solutions of the oil and gas sector, impacts to solutions as well, because now final investment decision bweba yakoleddwa omukyala yatugambye tubale ennaku 2 ne mu makati w'ebibiri okubanga emirimu gitandika. Kakati to solutions, yes, the impacts are there, we are not going to deny it, and the project is not going to be stopped because it has impact to the environment, maybe even to people. What should be done to mitigate impacts in obutakosa nnyo bantu?
So what happens, the first thing is give court time to address the issues that are before it. The issues
before
around
the project
compensation. Yes, compensate them.
Compensate the people.
In that where you are now, even before you commence your projects, you've addressed the issues behind. But you can't leave the issues behind. I think that is a serious problem. Another thing is divert some investment for green economic activities. Look at the sector that are viable. Because for me, if yes we are not going to produce oil, is that 1,443 pipeline? Is it the only option that we can take? If you have a refinery, why do you have the eco? We have trains, we have other means of transport that can take that. Yes, it might take longer to reach where it is needed for export, but it is environmentally viable. So why do you have to go? Why do you have to destroy something that is going to live forever? Because one thing we forget, even this, we are looking at this in a short term. Because oil is a non-renewable natural resource, so it is going to end. So what happens? Because now whatever is doing now, the impacts of oil, you're not going to bring back a wetland that you've encroached.
No.
You won't bring it back. That's it. The forest you've cut down, you won't bring it back. You know what happens to oil? When the oil spills the land, it goes deep. So which means there's nothing that you're going to grow after you have exploited the oil. There's nothing you're going to plant. The agriculture, which means the agriculture in that area that has been affected by oil, is going to be normal. So now we are looking at who's going to suffer the consequences. Not who's going, because this is going to happen in we might stop producing oil like in 30 to 50 years. So I might be leaving, but the person who's making a decision now, I highly doubt. And what happens to that? Because we are being, I believe that our generation, we are being selfish, that if we cannot protect for the future generation, because there are people that are going to come up after us, or after the people that are, because we are coming after the people that are making decisions now. So invest in green economic activities. Invest in tourism, because if tourism is where it lives forever. If you put a national park, it is there. Animals are going to reproduce. You won't have a national park that is going to live for only 10 years. It's there unless you disturb it. And of course, tourism is also assuring you, because at the moment tourism is the highest forest exchange earner. So it just needs investment. Look at a country like Dubai. They get their money. What contributes to their GDP is the tourism they have. So you're looking at the tourism and how it is doing wonders in different countries. And why don't you invest in it? Because Uganda, we are blessed as a country. We are blessed. Because we're looking at this sector, this oil and gas is happening in Albert Uganda that hosts over 70% of Uganda's critical biodiversity. So now that is what is at stake. So I don't think we should. It's really pertinent to support a project that is affecting other sectors. So we have to look at if we're going to produce oil, how is it going to align with other sectors? Or are Ugandans, because I wanted to discuss about local content, how are Ugandans involved? Are they gaining? Are they the ones taking the lead in this? Because initially Total owns over, and this owns over, is it 62%?
It's 56.
Around,
I think it's 56.7 something.
Yeah, around there. Then
Sinok is 28%.
28%. Uganda, we are in around 5.
It's 15.
Uganda around, yes, 55.
Uganda National Oil Company.
Yeah.
It's
15%. 15%. So you can look how much, because Uganda, because yes, they are promising that in over 3 years to 5 years, we are going to be having 15 to 20 billion. But what is which people are going to fund it? We are seeking for a loan of 2.5 billion. How much are we gaining? Uganda at the moment, our debt stands at over 73.8 billion US dollars. When you look at our budget, it's 40 something. So, and now you're looking at who is going to pay that, because I think the reason why we're involving young people is who's going to pay that debt.
We the people.
And how
actually every Ugandan is going to pay 1.5 million.
We are going to pay for that
1.5,
debt.
1.5 every Ugandan.
Green communities does research. When you do research, you make recommendations. Did you do research about this and made a recommendation to the responsible people? And what was their response, if you did?
Yeah, the recommendation, I think I mentioned the 2 points: investing in green economic activities, addressing the current issues that are happening, the court cases, give court time. The other one is invest in clean energy. We have solar energy. That one, those are environment friendly. Invest in the solar energy. Invest in those clean energy, because we are trying to train people to become the 21st climate leaders. Pay attention to the international conventions that Uganda is a party to. This Paris Agreement, Uganda is a party to that. And of course, when you look at, the Paris Agreement, it is intending to cut carbon emissions. So why do you go ahead and? Another recommendation was there's also the civic space. Because most non-government organizations, most civil society organizations, they come in to help the government, because as we go down to communities, we do research. So we are bringing for you issues that are happening. But of course, when you bring for you issues, you want to silence us. So we are saying, let us do our work, and we do research and come and aid, come and help you. Because this is a big project that needs everyone, needs all stakeholders. So how best can
So
we...
did they respond to your
They haven't
recommendations,
responded,
or they didn't?
They haven't responded because we sent it on 2nd February. We have not received any response. Yeah, apart from also the president saying that as we should be sleeping in bushes.
About the civic space that is shrinking, these stakeholders, some of them say, these people, the NGOs, hate in maybe advocating for environment, maybe fighting for human rights, but in actual sense, you are not doing what you meant to do, and you are using all these spaces to fundraise and fatten your pockets. The reason why we tubakwata mkatonotono temuli kukola mbilimu jamwe.
But we have the Anti-Money Laundering Act. If you think that I'm getting money and I'm putting it in my pocket, we have the law. Use it. So
The
my
was used
company.
and GDF.
Isn't?
Wasn't it that?
Wasn't it opened? Was it opened? Did they give the reason why opened? No, it is the fee of government that creates all that confusion. Because the GDF, it funds government organizations. Uganda Law Society is attached to the government. They fund government. They even fund Ministry of Finance. So finance is a ministry. Are they also funding their pockets? They're not funding their pockets.
But now one would wonder, is Uganda going to benefit from this oil, given the fact that the pipeline Geita in Tanzania be balina that big portion. But I think we're in 1,147 kilometers, if I'm not mistaken. And then Uganda, just 200 kilometers. Are we going to benefit from this oil? And then we also look at the other partners, between Uganda and the Sinok and then the Total. The percentage is very high compared to what Uganda has.
Ugandans, I believe if Ugandans are skilled enough and they can work, because much as Tanzania is bigger than Uganda, much as they take, because most things are going to be done in Uganda. The only deal we have with Tanzania is we have the pipeline passing in their area. So, and their share is Uganda has a big share, and Ugandans can benefit from it. That's the truth. But for that benefit to come, those are the issues that we've been raising. They have to be addressed. Yeah, if you're putting a pipeline, okay, in case you continue the pipeline, plant trees wherever to act as a mitigating factor around the whole thing. Yes, I think that's one of the that's one of the recommendations we would offer. I would suggest, if you're going to commence a pipeline, you make sure you put these mitigating factors, plant trees, and get other things that can work on the environment in case of oil spills. Because when you look at oil producing country, there is no country that has never had an oil spill and is producing oil. Those are things that you expect. But what measures have you put in place? So one thing, what if we are going to proceed, I think what we should look at is the mitigating factors. Address in line of climate change. How are we going to fight climate change, the climate change effects that are happening now? How are we addressing it? So for me, I think it doesn't make sense if you're passing pipelines, you're cutting trees in an area that you're going to exploit oil.
Yeah.
So in case, yes, you're going to proceed with the oil production, you make sure that place it is endowed with natural resources so that it can act like an oil breaker in that region. So those are things I think we should be debating, that we should be looking in, that the government should look at. You're looking at local content. You give Ugandan companies, give them contracts. Don't look for contracts out for the things that Ugandans themselves can do. Because I'm not saying that Uganda are not skilled to do that, because we are skilled to construct roads. We are skilled to do certain things. So engage us, give us those opportunities. Don't look for, because the moment you keep on looking for people, you're going to increase, first of all, the red button. And also be clear. Don't hide information from people. If you're saying that you've signed the FID, you tell us which people are funding the ECO. Let's just not have things from the background. Have it from anywhere other than our own government, because we have an institutional framework. We have the Ministry of Energy that is responsible for setting policies. Yeah. We have the Petroleum Authority of Uganda that is regulating and monitoring the whole process. So there are things that you have. UNOC, the Uganda National Oil Company, that is responsible for commercial interests of Uganda. So there are things that share with people and see how best they can get involved. Set policies that people can access and see and advise accordingly. Because there's no project you're going to work without the private sector, without your set organizations. Yeah, because much as you can claim that, yes, because when you look at the Ministry of Energy, they are going to tell that they conducted public hearings, but those people don't reach deeper. And still, for them, and of course, they come with that intimidation. Because they come when they have made up their minds. They're saying, we are giving this amount of money for your land, and that's it. But
you talked about the green economy. We want to see what steps can Ugandans take to achieve a green economy. What activities should we be engaging in to attain a green economy?
The activities, one, you have to engage in afforestation, plant trees. We need trees on mountains. We need trees everywhere. We need to end fossil fuels, this oil and gas. Is it going to solve Uganda's problems?
Yeah, partly.
Partly. But partly we've been solving our problems.
Because
we are looking, yes, if it is going to solve our problems, partly, because check how much is coming from oil and check how much we are getting to invest in oil. Because the debt burden is high. And there are so many reports on that the moment we continue producing oil, investing in oil, we are going to, our debt burden is going to increase. So who's going to pay all that money?
The Ugandans.
But if you look at the discovery of oil, has it led to any significant shift in our economy?
At the moment, you can tell me, but I see nothing. Because now,
I mean, it's
think
all talking
now,
about
yes,
oil was discovered. Oil was discovered.
Now it was discovered in 2006.
Yeah.
Now it has yielded, but the assumption is it will yield. That's the assumption at the moment. Yeah. But of course, much as of course there are going to be gains and what, but we are seeing that it is also creating issues, and these are the issues that we can address at the moment. That we have capacity to address at the moment, but we are not addressing them because we have our laws. Our laws are very clear.
These laws are not put into practice. Let's talk about the human rights violations as we close our show for the day. We have high human rights violations. In particular, we are going to look at Kakwenza. Who tortured Kakwenza? And can this person be, can the law act on these people that
then
tortured?
there's also this gentleman
of Kasese.
Is it Masereka?
Masereka.
So who is torturing these people?
And
And do these people, can the law act upon these people that are being tortured? Because everyone that is coming out is saying it's same way. And the read of same way, I will not say, but yeah, it is same way. So what should the Ugandans do apart from us doing hashtags and human rights violations and torture? What steps should the Ugandans do to put an end to these violations, to torturing the individuals, and apart from going to courts of law, because we know with the backlog in the courts, if you're a lawyer, you know, you can take your case and it is hard in the next 5 years. So what should the Ugandans do? What steps should we take? Because now, hashtags, this Jacola, we have talked, people have talked, and it is not working. What should we do?
Yes, when you look at our laws, the law is very clear. You're not supposed to be subjected to torture. When you look at Article 24, when you look at Article 44, they give you rights that are not supposed to be tampered with, the non-derogable rights, fair hearing, torture, subject to torture, habeas corpus. There are around 5. They are there, Article 44. So, but these are things that we've seen. Of course, Kakwenza is not the first person.
Yes.
Bob Wine was arrested and tortured. That was last year.
So should we take it that is the new norm?
And now this is a governance issue, because these things are not done by people that we don't know. It's done by government, and they have come out to speak about them. The president last year he spoke that there is where you can beat someone nicely. I don't know if I've used the better word.
Because even the judiciary is not helping.
Yes. And it's the same person who's saying you should not torture anyone. But are culprits punishable? Are they being punished?
No, they are punishing the victims.
They're punishing the victims. And also you have to look at why are people tortured. One, you're speaking about the government. These are my opinions, not these are my opinions as a lawyer. You're speaking about, because you see,
we are not meant to speak about the government. So Uganda is
I think I'll reach there. One, you're speaking about you're criticizing the government.
Yes.
And when you look at our laws, Article 29, we have freedom of speech.
True.
You have freedom of speech.
Isn't it abused by some people?
Whether it is abused or not, we have it.
Of course.
No, Farida, I think we need to talk about freedom.
Freedom of speech.
Yes, freedom of speech, really. But don't you think abamba bekweka in that article nga bayine songera zibagezako kuyisa? Because I would believe bali badde bogera ku cause emuntu batwagala kyusa kino batwagala kyusa kiri. But right now some people are attacking individuals.
And of course we have laws on defamation. The moment I say something wrong and it is ruining your reputation, or it is it's abusing the name of that person, we have laws on defamation. You can. We have this. That's a tort.
Actually,
You
even
can,
if
yeah,
I abuse
you
my
can sue.
freedom of speech,
Yes.
you cannot torture
You can,
me.
yeah,
You cannot torture me. I'm not a
you can
murderer.
sue. You can sue and get damages for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But now we are looking at these different aspects. We're speaking about things that are happening, and you're curtailed.
Yeah.
If I speak about someone who has been reigning for over 4 decades, I don't think that is abuse of freedom of speech, because it is a true comment.
Don't you think it also depends on the way you're bringing out this, or what the language you're using?
No
matter the language, whether you use a bad one or good language, for as long as I have freedom of speech, if I offend you, take me to courts of law. Why would you even go to my home to search? Are you looking for a Twitter, for a tweet that I put on Twitter in my home?
No,
I mean, that doesn't matter, Lillian. Anyway.
Liam is right, because we have, of course, here in Uganda, we have a law that's saying that it's Article 43. It limits your rights. That much as you're enjoying your rights, you're not supposed to infringe on other people's rights.
Exactly. When I go overboard, take me to court of law. Don't
but the
torture
moment
me.
is for you. If I'm doing something that is infringing on your rights, how are you going to handle me? Take me to courts of law, because now that's the determinant. That's something that courts of law have to determine. Did I really infringe on your rights? Now also that's a question. That's a question of its own. Because we are saying, recently, yesterday, but one that applied for Kakwenza himself had wanted to get his passport again, German and everything, but they're saying that
in good state.
He's in good state. But reality shows that the man is sick.
And the spokesperson came out and said he appeared in court, and so the lawyers didn't provide any evidence that he was tortured, and they are surprised that they used the evidence and they put it on social media. That's where they shouldn't be putting the evidence.
Yeah, but of course now that's a bit of a judge. Of course, I can't put myself in a position of a judge, but that's of course because me personally, if I'm speak as what I saw on social media, the man is really not okay. And because of course those when you kidnapped, what they have been doing, they put drugs in your body. That is on record. They put drugs on your body. So you need excellent medical attention, which I doubt I highly doubt that you can. But still, it's a right. I can go abroad to have any medical attention I want. It's not a guarantee that if I'm sick, I'm supposed to use Uganda's medical facilities.
They wouldn't be making direct flights to
Actually,
US.
Mr. Aryampa, babaka ba parliament abali ku opposition side. Baganya okuddamu okutuula mu parliament nga boogera still on these same issues of human rights violations. But chebakoze kinasobola okubaako kye kikyusa.
The thing is that
because we've seen other opposition candidates do this. But then techivuddemu results nungi.
The issue of human rights is a pertinent issue, and for me, I commend the opposition side not to go on and have debates when things like this, when such violations are happening, because people forget that what is happening now, it might be happening now, it might be happening to me now, but tomorrow it will be you. Because now we are having honorables in prison on charges of treason, charges of murder, and there are things that it was hyped when they were arrested, but has been fading out. So as policymakers, why do you watch your own people that you work with?
I'll be going through the comments. We are actually going to end our show. Atwemeleho Alex Agamba, future generations will also be affected by today's course of action because their future depends on the extent to which they have addressed concerns such as the depletion of resources, the loss of biodiversity, and long-living radioactive wastes. To represent the concerns of future generations is difficult in the context of policy making at the present moment. Environmental education is one way to equip young people with the necessary cognitive skills to recognize and withstand the pressures of the advertising world. The kind of education that needs to be imparted here involves providing information about how the world's ecosystems are under stress, as well as proper guidance on how to draw links between advertisers' product and its ecological consequences. Brooke Williams, with your opinions, I will read them. With much of oil money, about 3 trillion from oil fund already used, the fund is depleted, oil no longer owned by Uganda. When you make such statements, you put evidence. Otherwise, we call it propaganda. Most of the Ugandans involved in the oil project are military cadres and people with connections. That is why. Many Ugandans are tortured and killed. I have seen a video circulating when soldiers are throwing dead bodies in a forest. You see, Brooke Williams, you see, when we make these statements, let us support them with evidence, with videos. You have a video, you put it there. Otherwise, these statements are misleading. They are misleading the youth, and you youths are actually using propaganda to mislead the public. Let us desist from propaganda, and then we will develop as a whole. Your parting remarks as we close the Mighty Drive. It has been an honor having you on the Mighty Drive. We pray we get you next time when we really need you.
I'm so humbled for the invite and for hosting me. I think my ending remarks, one, it is to the young people. This is of course this is our country, and I think we are the age that can decide what kind of a country we want as people. So we all have potential, we all have abilities. So now we have to look at how best can we utilize what we have. How can we create the country we want? Because we cannot, because the thing that we should look away on how you can take part in decision making of our country. Just look away of how you should participate on how your country how your country is supposed to be governed. Because if you don't do it, no one will do it for you. Just come, work with government, work with other authorities, and advise and take part, be active in developing your country. Because the moment you remain silent, your ideas are locked. So my advice to youth, unlock your potentials. You have potentials, we all have potentials, and we all have a purpose. Unlock those potentials, and trust me, we can create the better Uganda that we want, that we deserve.
Here at the Mighty Drive, we end our show on a lighter note. So you will be telling us what you enjoy doing in your free time when you're not doing human rights. It is not environment. It is not anything related to work. What do you enjoy doing?
Me, I'm a rugby fan. I used to play rugby during my time at the university, but I stopped to.
One of the few Ugandans that support rugby. I find it boring. I cannot watch it.
No, I think you've not actually taken part not to watch it, but rugby is one of the sports that you should interest yourself with. Very interesting. Hey, just come at the It's such an interesting sport. Me, I'm a Paris supporter. Publicly, I can say I'm a Paris supporter, and I watch their matches. Very interesting. On a Saturday, I don't miss their matches.
Okay. You don't support. Apart from that,
I love swimming. I love swimming over the weekend, so I usually go for swimmings and.
Tenjo,
I love reading and write. People read newspapers. I think I'm a common face. Yeah, I read articles on pertinent issues. Yeah, as a person, and reading. That's how I spend my free time.
We have come to an end of the Mighty Drive of the day. It is a Wednesday the 9th. Thank you for watching. Those live via Facebook. Those that have commented and I didn't read your comments, please just take my apologies. Comments zibadde nnyingi. Lilian agenda kuba atujja wano olunaku lwa leero just kuba ye mumbejja wa Buganda. Ajja kuba ntutte nnyo ffe baakoyima tulina Oiro City atenza amaliza shows agigulawo.
Tweyanziza nnyo tweyanzege mwebale nnyo mwenna ababaddeko okuva gye twatandikidde paka wano tugenda okuba nga ate tuwunzikira tubadde n'omwami Aryampa Brighton ono nate munnamateeka era nga ye CEO wa Youth for Green Communities era nga tubadde nayo rally ensonga zetwogeddeko zibadde ensonga nnyingi nnyo ensonga za oil and gas ensonga za environment ensonga za climate change kansobire nti gwali ewaka ate ofunyemu ekyokuyiga nze omumbejja luwedde Lilian mbadde n'omumbejja ye Bunyoro omukyala Farida Bikobere kambagaliza okubeera obulungi tusisenkana olunaku olw'enkya mweraba.
The Alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.